Welcome back everybody to chapter 12. Glad to have you here with us. We are moving along with the series. Something that I talked about in the prologue, we are at a point in this game where things take time, right? A 10-second clip of us getting a certain fishing level or a mining level, that's like 2 to 3 days in real life. So keep that in mind as we move into the last 4 episodes. Some of them are 2 to 3 weeks worth of content. For this video, there are 2 themes. The first one is going to sound very familiar. We train skills until we can do quests. The second one is we're going to train ranged, and I'll explain why later in the video, but for now, we started off at Fossil Island, training on the Ammonite crabs until we got to level 64 ranged. The next step was to complete our weekly mini games. We started with Miscellanea, grabbed our haul. We ended up making 600k in profit, and then we completed the Tears of Gothix mini game. All the experience went to construction, got us to level 45. So at this point we have 14 quests remaining, and most of them have challenging boss fights. So getting the Chivalry Prayer is pretty much a must. We went to a gilded altar and sacrificed dragon bones until we got to level 60 prayer. And then the first quest that we were going to complete was Lunar Diplomacy. We just needed to train our mining. So we went to the Motherlode mine, started that wonderful grind for the Prospector's outfit, and got our mining to level 60. With the last requirement checked off, we were now able to complete Lunar Diplomacy, gain access to the Lunar Isle, and then the quest rewarded us with enough runecrafting experience to get us to level 53. And then, because the focus of today's video is training range to level 70, my OCD will not allow my magic to also not be level 70, and because we were only a level away, we superheated gold ore until we got to level 70. And then we completed Hope Spear's Will mini quest, and I love this mini quest. What a cool concept. You get to fight the 5 dead goblin priests again, this time without the use of armor, spells, or weapons. Makes it a bit more difficult. Took me 2 bank trips, but we got it done. Once we buried their bones in Ubusk, we got almost 40k of prayer experience that got us to level 61. So Slayer was next, and just like in chapter 11, I'm going to use this format to show you guys the Slayer journey for this chapter. This way I can showcase all the assignments we've got, all the gains with regards to experience and levels. And the first batch of our Slayer tasks that we completed was 122 Greater Demons, 50 Ankus, 15 Black Dragons, and then 155 Aberrant Spectres, although we did the Deviant Spectre version in the Corinth Catacombs. We ended up getting 62 defense. We are training our defense to level 65 so we can do King's Ransom, and then we got 63 Slayer. Another very important milestone for the character, the Black Dragon Slayer assignment, gave us enough points to be able to learn how to craft our very own Slayer helmet. So we combined all the components and got that Slayer helmet. It is unimbued for now, but regardless, kind of a big step for the character to get that thing. So speaking of important milestones, I felt it was about time for us to get inside the 5 caves and give it a try. I knew I wasn't going to make it, but I wanted to see how far we can go, to kind of gauge where our character is, what skills we need to train, what upgrades in terms of gear and inventory we're going to need in order to even make it to Jad. That's what this try was all about. I'll tell you guys this, I've never gotten a fire cape before. Young Noxie did not have the skill for it. I couldn't prayer switch to save my life, could not deal with Jad's healing phase. And that is even if I made it to him, right? To keep the concentration for 2 hours in the 5 caves to get through all the waves. So it just wasn't going to happen for young Noxie. Like everybody else in my neighborhood, I had to have Thorm hop on my account and get it done for me. Thorm was kind of like the fire cape peddler in our neighborhood. He was the only one out of all of our friends that had the skill to do it. So everybody relied on him. Honestly, he should have charged all of us, but he was too nice. He just got it done for everybody. So this was going to be the first time that I actually do it myself, and I was kind of excited about it, to be honest with you guys. But the first try went exactly as expected. I fumbled a lot of my prayers, I took unnecessary damage, but I took the time to learn what each mob does, where I should probably stand for max effectiveness, figure out the order I should be killing these mobs in, and just kind of, you know, get my feet wet, if you will. But I did only make it to wave 34, which is a mage and one of the small melee guys. all the unnecessary damage that I took. I ate a lot of my food and used up too much of my prayer potions. So I knew I wasn't even going to make it to Jad just based off of inventory. So a bit comical. Thorm convinced me to try to prayer flick the mage. I tried. I failed miserably. He two-tapped me and sent me right back to the lobby. We had a really good laugh about it. But it's on now, you know? Like, now I want to do it. So we're going to be back. So another important thing about that first attempt was it showed me that I need to train my ranged. And I talked about it at the beginning of the video, but we needed to get our range to at least 70. I wasn't doing nearly enough damage. Things took way too long to kill. And red dehyde wasn't going to cut it. So we needed some upgrades. I felt that 70 range could be somewhere where I could potentially get to Jad and see how it goes. So off we went to Fossil Island, got our range to level 67. And then I took a break and returned to Slayer for money because we needed to buy upgrades for fight caves. And then also to train our defense because that was going to be helpful in there as well. So we completed another batch of assignments, 5 in this case, 167 fire giants, 122 jellies, 144 Turots, 142 hellhounds, and 159 fire giants again. All that plus the first attempt plus the range training, which I just talked about, got us to 67 defense, 65 slayer, and 71 hit points. The next day was actually a Saturday, so for me that meant college football. Lots of games to watch and a great opportunity to get our range to level 70, like discussed previously. And then also I included 71 woodcutting in that grind, just because we needed that for Grimtails. Both of those skills are pretty AFKable, and that's exactly what I did all day. I alternated them. I did one range level for 2 woodcutting levels, but for the purpose of the video and just kind of keeping it straight, here is us getting 70 ranged at Fossil Island, and then here is us getting 71 woodcutting at Apatol, cutting the teak trees. So it was time to try again. We got to 70 ranged and 67 defense, both 5 higher than our first attempt. And then through all the money that we got from the Slayer assignments and some farm runs, we were able to purchase gear upgrades that I consider quite significant. So here is the new gear that we're going to go into the fight caves with. The inventory stayed the same. I just brought more prayer potions. And this time we were able to get to Jad. Fuck. No! Dead. Fuck! That's a rip. So obviously not that great. I don't hide the fact that I'm a bad player. You know, prayer switching looks easy, but to me, in the thick of it, in real life, it was really stressful and I just fumbled all over it. It is what it is. With more reps, you know, I knew I was going to get better, so I didn't really stress over it. But 2 hours in the fight cave is mentally taxing, so I decided to switch and train some fletching. We need to get to level 60 so we can do Sins of a Father, and we did that by cutting maple longbows at the Grand Exchange. The quest Grimtails also required 58 thieving, so off I went to Pyramid Plunder to knock that out pretty quick. But before I did Grimtails, I actually decided to complete a King's Ransom first. It's a pretty quick quest that did give us 33k of defense experience that bumped us up to level 68. But more importantly, it opened up the Knight's Waves training for us. And once we completed that activity and defeated all the knights, we got access to chivalry and piety prayers, as well as 20k in attack, strength, defense, and hit points, but none of those gave me a level. And then I do want to bring your attention to the fact that I am wielding an Abyssal Whip. Finally got enough money to buy one, so that's a big win for the account. After that, we went ahead and completed Grimtails and tripped a little bit over the Cloud Giant. I had to run away once, but came back and got the job done. The quest gave us 58 herb lore and 59 thieving. And then we went ahead and completed Dream Mentor, fought the inadequacy and all the wonderful creations in Cyrus's mind. The quest gave us a 15k combat lamp that we put towards range that got us to level 71. And then the conclusion of my favorite questline, the Vampire series with Sins of the Father. What a wonderful quest. Mwah, chef's kiss. Loved every second of it. Wonderful quest with an engaging end boss, very challenging. It took us 7 tries to take him down. We got super lucky in the last phase, which you're going to see here in a second, is we got the greatest RNG on those lightning bolts. I hardly have to move. Wonderful. It was awesome too. It was like 2 in the morning, man. I had a bunch of friends in my Discord that were cheering me on. It was a total hype. Something that I thought about doing for a while, and I'm going to do it with this video and all the videos moving forward, is I'm going to start including raw footage for some of these epic fights that we have left, just because all the quests we have left have engaging end bosses. Fortunately, it's going to make the videos a bit longer, especially this one, since I'm also including raw footage from fight caves, but it's content that I actually really enjoy and want to share with you, so please bear with the length of the videos. Let's fucking go, baby. Sins of the Father rewarded us with 90k worth of experience tomes that we put all to agility. That got us to level 71. And then the next morning I completed another dope quest, Beneath the Sands. Had a wonderful time with this one as well. Really challenging and engaging boss fights throughout this entire quest, to include the Championess Cabaras and the Menified Act at the end that you guys are seeing on screen right now. I'm not going to showcase those because there's a lot more to do and I don't want this video to last an hour. So instead we're going to talk about finishing this quest. It gave us 50k of agility experience that we put to agility again and got us to level 72. Attempt number 3. There was one small change in my gear. I brought an unholy book as opposed to the black d'hide shield. I can't. Obviously frustrating, not because I died, I expected to die, but because I was in there for 2 hours and then died within the first 3 hits by fumbling my prayer switches. Really disappointing. But to dry my sorrows, I returned to Slayer. And this batch of 8 assignments that you see on screen, I did spread out throughout the rest of the things you're about to see in this video. But for the sake of integrity and closing out the Slayer aspect of this chapter, I group them up here and I talk about them here. We ended up getting 223k of Slayer experience across the 17 assignments we did. You can see all the levels that we gain on the right hand side, notably the 68 Slayer. And then I really just wanted to say one thing about this, and that is Dust Devils is my favorite Slayer assignment. Wonderful, great money, really fun with the ancient magics. And then Sequoias can go suck it. That task is banned, it's worthless. All right, folks, home stretch here for skilling and questing, starting with getting our construction to level 60 by building oak larders in the player-owned house. We did that so eventually we can do Desert Treasure 2, but also so that our construction can be higher than our rune crafting, because once we did the Tears of the Gothics mini game, I wanted that experience to go to rune crafting, and so it did. Got us to level 54, and then we went to Miscellanea to grab our hull. This time it was a bit more lucrative because I spent an extra day on it and ended up getting about 750k worth of profit. The last quest for this chapter was the Fremnik Exiles, but before we could complete it, we needed to train our crafting to level 65. So we did so by crafting diamond bracelets. And then the second requirement was to get to 55 rune crafting. So we learned how to train rune crafting at the Temple of the Eye minigame. We stayed there until we got to 56. And then we completed the Fremnik Exiles quest, another installment of the Viking Saga, another dope-ass story with a cool end boss. Once it was complete, we got a Slayer level interlaced with all that Slayer training that you saw previously. We also got our crafting to level 66 and our rune crafting to level 57. For my fourth attempt, I made one small inventory change. I brought an anglerfish. It seemed inefficient not to at least try to get the combat achievement where he hits you once and you still kill him, so I brought an anglerfish to boost my max HP. Don't ask me why I'm doing it when I'm having problems with prayer switches. It is what it is, how my brain operates. Funny though, I was so stressed out I forgot to actually use it. I'm gonna let him hit me when he does range. Okay. Who's attacking me? Oh, I see. I have to kill him. I don't know what to do here. Yeah. I actually felt incredible about that attempt. We went from dying within the first 3 hits to actually seeing the healing phase while purposely trying to get hit. And then if we noticed that healer sooner and done something about it, maybe we could have gone even further, who knows. But I definitely started realizing that I can get this done. The next day though, I spent the entirety of it in the Motherlode mine to continue the prospector outfit grind, as well as our road to 72 mining so we can go upstairs in the Motherlode mine, as well as do making friends with my arm quest. Unfortunately only got to level 68 before I was sick of mining and needed to do something else. Alright folks, so the Fight Caves Judgment Day is upon us, but before I show you guys this attempt, wink wink, nudge nudge, I'm going to close this video out, so if you don't want to sit here for another 15 minutes, you don't have to. We ended up doing 25 birdhouse runs and farm runs that got us 3 hunter levels and 6 farming levels, and here is the progress check for this chapter. We went from 1422 to 1538 total skill level, some very meaningful and incredible progress in terms of skilling and combat, as well as knocking out some very important and challenging quests, and then of course the Fight Caves grind itself. As far as the teaser for the next video, I'll let you guys know this. We're finally going to start doing some combat achievements, which is going to include some bossing. So that's going to be a first for this character. Stick around and find out exactly what that means. Thank you so much for hanging out in this video. I know it's a bit longer, but hopefully it's a good one. And then obviously guys, really appreciate it. And then I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Nope. Okay, we're I think I like to be on this side, to be honest with you. I'll bring him a little bit closer. Okay. I just don't see them. Oh, I see him right here. Dude, hit him. Yeah. Let's fucking go! Let's fucking go, bro.